slow-mo to the Bay. Kyle Anderson, 3-year, $27 million deal. Third year, non-guaranteed. And it was the trade exception created in the Klay Thompson deal yesterday. And the second round picks to Minnesota, who, look, I don't think they wanted to lose Kyle Anderson. The reality is Gobert, Towns, Ant, soon to be one of the more richer players in the NBA, right? It sounds like cap management for Minnesota and a nice little sidestep to bring in a very Warriors style of player, and instead of Josh Green or whatever Dallas was offering. My first thoughts are, is this Draymond Green insurance? Because I'm not sure how much they can play together. They do a lot of the same things, just with a different demeanor, right? A different personality. But I guess if Looney and Draymond played together for all these years, I guess those two can play together, because Kyle Anderson, what is he, 6'9"? Is probably going to play some small ball 5 for Steve Kerr. I think we all know that that's a possibility, because he is strong too. And to be honest, covering the Wolves into these playoffs, and more than I have in the past, because the rise of Anthony Edwards and this team being so good all of a sudden, Kyle Anderson is one of the more underrated defenders in the league. Just point blank. And you can, my patrons know this. You can go back to some of my breakdowns where I say this. Like, he is super sneaky. He is super cerebral and sneaky, very smart, high IQ player. Obviously, like the dribble handoff game, the screen game. You saw him kind of be the adult in the room for the Wolves, who they should have went to Kyle Anderson, honestly, earlier in the Mavericks series. They leaned on him late when it was too late, but you saw him setting the table and directing traffic. He's a natural leader. And now, as far as the shooting goes, children, hide your eyes, right? It is one of the ugliest releases in the league, hands down. What was the meme that was going around on Twitter? It's Kyle Anderson's shot needs 2-step verification, right? It's in about 3 parts. He will occasionally take that corner 3 or below the break 3, kind of like Draymond in the past, like, hey, I know you're daring me to, so I will take it. Now, Draymond last year, it was a different story. He was much more confident in it. But yeah, man, I think this is a really nice move here when you consider the cost of acquisition. 30 years old, still in the prime of his career, very, very durable player, because he is a ground-based player. He's a cerebral player, can defend multiple position. And then I think most excitingly, he adds size. And that's the thing. You know, I saw the comments in the Quentin Post review video, and a lot of people, you know, kind of snarky, like, well, Kerr's not going to play him, right? You can get a big man, Kerr's not going to play him. Well, here is a big body that I guarantee you Steve Kerr is going to play. And that's not easily said or found in the league. And again, at 30, super durable, and just a nice connecting piece that I think is, yeah, man. I mean, hey, it's not Lauri Markkanen, but I think that this was a really nice move that Mike Dunleavy has pulled off once they found out. Well, the reports are they found out they knew Klay was going to leave, right? And so now that I'm here and we're already making kind of an unplanned video, I was going to wait till tomorrow to talk about DeAnthony Melton, the other signing. I'm not going to lie to you. My first thought was another 6'3" guard. Like, I like DeAnthony Melton. I do. I'm not sure how much I like him for how our roster is currently constructed. Now, we did just add a big body. That's cool, right? But, you know, Pods, GP2, Steph. I guess I wouldn't consider Moody small. He plays big. And I know people are going to say Melton plays big. But yeah, I think is the Melton move a precursor to a larger move that we're all waiting on? GP2, you know, it was kind of up in the air I think everybody knew he was going to pick up his option, but whether they were going to extend him any longer. And I'm in the camp that, you know, GP2, as much as we love him as the dude, you can't count on him as the player. And so he could be on his way out, and that would make sense, DeAnthony Melton being the GP2 replacement, where, listen, no one in the league defensively, I think you can compare to GP2. He's super unique, but he is, you know, a guy that can be a point of attack defender, very good team defender, plays the passing lanes very well. And then is more dynamic offensively than GP2, certainly a better shooter over his career. It's funny, though, you look at DeAnthony Melton, 26 years old in the prime of his career. What I don't love is that he missed last year, half of last year with a back injury. That's a little bit spooky. You'd much rather it be kind of like an ankle or, something more common. Back can be very subjective, right? There's a lot of things that can go on with the back. But he is in the prime of his career, 37% three-point shooter. And what stuck out to me, again, defensively, he averages a steal and a half, and the minutes that he plays is crazy. And when you look up DeAnthony highlights, California kid out of USC, you see him playing the passing lanes very well, and you hear the term gamble defensively, right? But not all gambles are created equally. For instance, Jordan Poole gambling in the passing lane is not the same gamble as GP2 or DeAnthony Melton, right? When GP2, Andre Iguodala, some of these, elite defenders, when they gamble, it's kind of like 80-20. 80% chance they're going to get it, 20% is a gamble. With a Poole-like guy that's just gambling kind of out of laziness, then it's more 50-50, 60-40. So I like Melton. I just wasn't thrilled that we were going to spend that money on another smaller guard unless it's just one of many pieces to come. Kyle Anderson, again, as ugly as the shot is, I've been a fan, right? He started off with the Spurs. He was in Memphis, Minnesota the last 2 years. I think he can have an Andre Iguodala-like presence. Not the same player, not by any means, not nearly. Andre probably still has more athleticism in his big toe than Kyle Anderson has ever had. But as far as impact, as far as a toolsy connecting player and a natural leader in the locker room, I think it's a great move. What else? I guess now that we've all sat with this Klay Thompson news here for 24 hours or so, you saw Anthony Slater of The Athletic release a long article on giving details, and people are starting to, stuff's going to start to trickle out, I think, about the last year or so and maybe how it wasn't so pleasant behind the scenes. Now, some people may interpret it as spin control, and, I hope it doesn't get ugly, right? Let's keep it classy here and keep, maybe the Warriors need to keep these things to themselves, but Anthony Slater and others doing their job, right? That's their job, is to dig this stuff up. But I think the headlining quote in the last 24 hours has been that Joe Lacob led the way on the cold shoulder negotiating from Klay Thompson. And kind of like, hey, there's been 3 summers to extend. And Joe was like, nah, we're going to play hardball just like they had with Andre and Draymond, and Klay wasn't built like that, right? And then the other big piece of information was that Klay had told Steph, hey, don't go to bat for me. Don't like exercise your power and force them to pay me. I want them to want to do it, right? And it just goes to show you that it really wasn't about the money. I had kind of hinted at this if you go back, 10 days ago or so when Klay cut all the social media stuff. And I kind of said, hey, is it like a relationship that you don't want to be the bad guy in? Talking about the Warriors side of things, where it's like you're passive aggressively doing things so the other person breaks up with you. And again, as the tea leaves drop, it kind of sounds that way. My read on it is, and who knows, it could have been all sorts of things, right? But I feel like Joe perhaps took that approach because he was pissed at, again, how Klay handled the rehab process, fair or unfair, right? But I suspect that that's the root of it. But yeah, man, hopefully it doesn't get ugly and not too much more gossip comes out over the last year, because I'm sure there were some things from both sides. It's always a two-way street. Everybody's got to move on. But I think, hey, we'll see. All eyes on this Lauri Markkanen deal. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Melton, Kyle Anderson. I think they're 2 very good fits. You'd like to get more size. Kyle Anderson is going to be able to play that 4-5 and be some Draymond insurance. What are you giving up for Lauri Markkanen? All the draft picks, Pods and Moody. Are you giving up Kuminga? That's the question, because now it's being reported we wouldn't give up Kuminga for Paul George. I believe that, and I believe that to be the correct decision. Playoff P, Poonanny P, whatever we want to call him. Look, it would have been a sexy move, and it would have been intriguing. But I also could have seen Jonathan Kuminga haunting us in a Clippers uniform for the next 10 years while Paul George is podcasting with Draymond. That's a legit fear. So I'm all right with them not wanting to include him. I think the question is, for Lauri Markkanen, who is a player in the prime of his career, fits even better, where does that discussion start? Is he, that's going to be the sticking point. So I don't know. I can't call it, man. All we can do is sit back and wait. But at least Dunleavy is starting to fill this roster out with guys are going to play and going to contribute. Patrons, Summer League starts Saturday, the California Classic. We'll get our first look at Quentin Post, Reese Beekman, and who else are we adding? Kevin Knox, I guess, was a scratch from a calf injury. But I'm excited to see the youth movement, and you will get all the Summer League breakdowns from Golden State on my Patreon, as well as Olympic coverage, and that starts Saturday. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.